Right, so the big difference between social dancing and performance dancing, of course, social dancing, you're most likely going to be doing it with a wide variety of people. The name is in it, social dancing. It's not necessarily anything that's pre-choreographed. It's very spur of the moment, depends on the song, depends on the person you're dancing with. And that's kind of the allure of it. Every time it's spontaneous, it can be different with different people. Performance dancing is totally different. That's a song that you've chosen, you've pre-choreographed everything, you're obviously trying to tell a story or trying to show something as a couple to the audience. And that is open to any choreography you like, whatever your abilities allow you to do, you can do that. And so that's more along the artistic side of things. Social dancing is of course just for immediate enjoyment.
Where am I going? From here I don't know. I need direction. Show me where to go. Gotta get back where I started. Without you all I see is darkness. And you're not to blame for these hardships. I'm coming back home to your heart, yeah. I'm coming back home to your heart. I'm coming back home to your heart. I'm coming back home to your heart. I'm coming back home where I started. There you are.
Yeah, I have a unique way that I actually started dancing. I started when I was 20 years old, and there was an ad in the newspaper, and it said, "Choose a career in dance instruction, no experience necessary." And I thought that was kind of funny, that you're going to be a dance instructor with no dance experience. So I called them up and asked them what the situation was, and they said that they basically going to teach you how to dance, and then for those people that they actually decide to take on, they'll teach you how to teach. And so it was for 7 hours a day, 5 days a week, pretty much a full-time job, and at the end of it, they didn't necessarily guarantee that they were going to take you. So I didn't tell anybody that I was going to do this, so I just did it just in case it didn't work out, or if it wasn't going to be my thing. But then, of course, I started doing it, and I went through the course and was one of the lucky ones that got picked. And then 6 years later, I was the dance director at that studio, and that was in Edmonton.
There you are, and here I am, right where I belong. Right where I belong. You pick me up every time that I fall. The way that you love me, I'm at a loss for words, and I'll never leave. I'll never leave.
So yeah, I mean, being an absolute beginner, I knew nothing. I'd never taken a dance step in my whole life. And yet I've got these people in front of me that I'm trying to dance with, and there's a teacher teaching us. So, but I was happy to give it a try. I never worried. I just thought, if it doesn't work for me, I'll just go back to doing something else. So I really had nothing to lose, and it was exciting to be around all those other people. So I think that helped me to really have some confidence and just give it my best. And as it turned out, it was good enough.
Yeah, I did. It was a little scary at first, obviously. You're a little nervous. You don't want to look, too crazy in front of anybody. But we were all kind of beginners. We're all in the same boat, so it wasn't too bad. I like the fact of just being in contact with people, and I like people in general. So the fact that I was able to learn a skill and do that with another partner and multiple partners, because we had a bunch of people in the class, it was just really exciting. Every day was fun. We're always learning something new, getting better. The whole process was really cool.
After I was about a month into the training of the 2.5 months training, I wasn't sure if I was really good or not. I wasn't sure if this is what I wanted to do. I was living with a girl at the time, and she wasn't probably that happy about me every day dancing with all these other girls. So I had a little bit of pressure to kind of maybe, let's do something else, because I certainly wasn't being paid either. So I had decided I'm going to go in and let them know that I'm going to quit. And so I spoke to the dance director at the time, who was my teacher, and he seemed quite shocked and said, "You have to come in and speak with the owners." And so I spoke with the whole staff at that point. And that's when they said that, "No, you're actually doing a really good job, and we're going to hire you if you stick with it for the rest of the time." So they encouraged me to keep going, and so I said, "Okay, I'm going to keep going." And I'm glad I did, because basically I haven't stopped in 30 years.
But if I keep on going and I keep on moving, I know things will change. If I persevere and I keep pursuing things, they gotta change. Happiness can wait. Gotta build up my name. Gotta build up my name. Where am I going? From here I don't know. I need direction. Show me where to go. Gotta get back where I started. Without you all I see is darkness. And you're not to blame for these hardships. I'm coming back home to your heart, yeah. I'm coming back home to your heart. I'm coming back home to your heart. I'm coming back home to your heart. I'm coming back home where I started.
So yeah, I think after maybe about a year and a half of teaching, then suddenly I started to get a good handle on it, start to really enjoy it, have your first couple performances, see your students start to progress, to come in very novice, and then see their progression over 6 months into a year. I started to realize that satisfaction of being a teacher, what you get to seeing your students progress like that. And then I started to think that this is for me. I feel like I'm good at this. I enjoy it. I'm definitely going to do this as long as I can. After about 6 years in Edmonton at Cheek to Cheek Dance Studios, I decided that I wanted to pursue my own level of dance. So I kind of was the highest teacher at the time, and there wasn't really anybody that could take me any further. We used to bring in a gentleman from Vancouver, and he recommended me to go to England, which at the time was the hub of ballroom and Latin dancing internationally. So I'd never been out of the country before, Canada, so I thought this is perfect. I'm still relatively young. I'm gonna go check it out. So he actually put me in touch with another Canadian girl that was out there. So I went to England and just didn't know anything, just thought I'm gonna give it a try. What's the worst that can happen? I can always just come back home, it's no problem. So I had a lot of confidence going out there. And when I got there, it was a shock, for sure, because everyone was way better than I was. So it was a long road for me to sort of build up my technique as they're dancing what we call international style, which is different from what I was doing, which is called American style. So I had to adjust a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. I found a partner, and she was Canadian as well, but I'd never known her before. She was from Vancouver. And so we were able to dance for Canada for a few years, and that was super fun. So I was able to go to all the top competitions in the world and just enjoyed doing that process. That happened for about 3 years, and then I realized for me, competition isn't the most important thing. I enjoy performing and I enjoy teaching, and those are my two main things. So what I decided to do at that point was get my certification in the international style of dance, which I did in London at a school which is kind of the equivalent of Harvard in dance schools. And so I was able to get my licentiance. It's called, you get an associate level and then a licentiate level in Latin, international Latin. And I got it from there. And then I started teaching there. And yeah, my partner continued to compete, and I was doing more teaching in England. I was approached by some ladies that were coming over from China, and they wanted me to come back to China. So I was able opportunity to go to China and teach in China for about 6 weeks, which was an amazing opportunity as well. And then I had an opportunity to decide either to start teaching in Hong Kong. There was an opportunity in Switzerland for me, and Australia. And so when I was going to make that decision, I decided I was going to go home first because I hadn't been home in a couple of years. And I came home. Somehow I decided to stay here instead, and I've been here ever since.
So there's two main styles of, well, three, I suppose, of social dancing. The one that's most recognized around the world is called international because it's around the whole world. That's probably essentially the original mainstream style of dancing. Then you have American style, which is essentially, there was some British people who moved to the States and saw a different type of clientele, different type of music, and modified the international style slightly to make it easier for the people that they were teaching at the time. So that's where you get your Arthur Murrays, your Fred Astaire's, those type of big companies. They kind of were catering to people who had the time and the money, and that's where you get a slightly different style. So similar, but a little bit different. And then you get the club style dances, which are like salsa, bachata, kizomba, merengue to a lesser extent. And those are more like done in the clubs. and so forth. So there's three sort of main different styles and lots of variety within those.
Sitting here talking, kissing your lips and I'm coming alive. Oh, we can start running, make a list of ways that the time just doesn't right. Oh, we could go all in, yeah, we could be loved by the end of the night, by the end of the night. I like that nervous look on your face when you're starting to think that you're talking too much. I like how we just met and I'm not.
Other hobbies, they tend to be individual. Like I enjoy golf, but it's just me up at the tee. You can golf with your significant other, but it's still just you up at the tee by yourself. I find that dancing is one of the very few hobbies that you actually do together. You succeed or you fail, but you do it together. You need to work as a team to accomplish it. And that is a totally different dynamic. And it makes it a lot more enjoyable when you have your significant other and you're enjoying the time together. And it just creates a much better relationship between the two of you. Yeah, so my wife and I didn't meet dancing. When I first met her, she was not a dancer. She had done some gymnastics back in the day and so forth, but actual proper ballroom dancing, nothing until she had met me. So I was obviously happy to teach her and bring her along. And and after a while, she was actually able to help me teach some group classes and take some of the male clients. But it's not her full-time job, it's mine. She has a great job on her own, but we still, of course, love to dance together. Yeah, dancing is a little bit of a different, we don't grow up dancing here. I didn't as well. Like when I was young, I played hockey. That's what we do in Canada, and maybe played soccer in the summer. But dancing's really not high on the list. I know for like my sister and other females mostly, it's jazz, tap, ballet predominantly. So, but for boys especially, it's not really on the cards. However, in other countries, it's huge. Even like Eastern European countries, Japan, obviously the Latin American countries, they grow up dancing in the streets. So for North America, it's just not on the cards as much. It's changed in recent years, with the popularity of So You Think You Can Dance, Dancing with the Stars. It's at least brought it to the average home now that they know that it's a possibility. And so it has made leaps and bounds, I think, in the last 10, 15 years for sure. And I think it's just the exposure. In smaller towns, and I still consider Kelowna to be relatively small, they just don't get it. It's not part of the culture yet. You really need to start from young kids and then work the way up. Whereas at the moment, I think we're mostly just hitting the adults. A lot of people, in their 30s and upwards that consider it. But if we can start getting the kids dancing, it becomes normal from, age 10. And then in the next 20, 30 years, you start to develop a culture like that, which a lot of other cities have. I think that's probably going to be the next best thing for Kelowna, is to get kids starting to dance. Actually, I have done that. I've had a couple of the local schools bring me in to teach. Usually it was either just because it's like maybe they're learning about Spain or they're learning about Latin cultures, and I'll come in and teach them a little bit of salsa so they get an idea of what the dance is like, and then listen to the music and so forth. I've also been into it for more, it's like a physical education kind of an idea for 8 to 10-year-olds, mostly line dancing and things like that, maybe not necessarily partner dancing. But anything that gets them moving with the music, they just take to it, they love it. I think it just needs to be something that's more consistent and separate from school, and something that they can see. You just need a couple star young kids to show what it can be like, and I think a lot of people will then think, you know what, let's give this a try. You know, we know about jazz, we know tap, we know ballet, hip hop. Let's try this ballroom dancing.
So social dancing is where everybody is going to start. So that's the kind of dancing that there's 20 different dances pretty much you can choose from. It's dances that you're going to be doing probably with a wide variety of different partners, or even maybe just your own significant other. That music is going to be random. The steps are going to be standardized. You're going to be pulling from steps that are the same all over the world if you're using the same style. And that makes it easy for you to go anywhere else and know a box is a box here and a box is the same in South Africa, it's the same in anywhere. So that's the social aspect of it. So that way we can all dance together, even though we probably didn't learn in the same studio. Performance dancing is just an extension of that. So now you're taking an actual song, you're choosing a dance style. You have choreography for both partners that's very specific. We're not freestyling here. This is going to be designed to tell the story potentially, or create an emotion around something. And that's where you're going to be dancing to the best of your ability. And maybe that is just for performance, just for friends and family, or maybe you actually take it to a competition, which is another story as well. So performance dancing is a slightly higher level, but there's also performances at novice levels. So you've got bronze, silver, gold. There's performances at all those stages. So you don't have to wait, for 10 years before you perform. It's just about having the want to do it, and it's the interest.
So when I went to England, it was definitely for me to compete. It was for me to develop my own dancing to the highest level. I got to a certain level with teaching, but then really your day is filled with teaching beginners and teaching other people, not really working on your own so much. So when I went to England, I was able to just focus on myself. I didn't teach at first. I just took lessons and trained. And we would do competitions on the weekends, and then we do the big competitions, once a year. And after 3 years of doing that pretty hardcore, that's when I then decided, you know what, I think I just want to do performances from now on and get back to some teaching. And
The benefits from dancing are amazing. There's so many. Anything that you can think of that you would get from any type of aerobic activity applies for ballroom and Latin dancing. But it has on top of it that whole spiritual side, musical side. You're using your mind, your body, your soul, all of those things put together, which I think a lot of sports sort of have maybe one or two of those, but not all of them. And the fact that you're dealing with another person. You get that connection with another person, which again is something that with dancing you succeed or you fail, but at least you do it together and you can have a lot of fun doing that.